following program may contain language of an adult nature. Listener discretion is advised.
Views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of alltalkradio.net.
What's going on, guys? alltalkradio.net, boxingtalk.com, and welcome to the Dontae's Boxing Nation show. I am your host, Dontae, and joining me today are my special guests, my man, as always, co-host in the studio with me, writer and author, Norrin Radical. And on the phone, I have my two guests, some of the best channels. They have some of the best channels on YouTube. My man, Ranger, that's RawBoxingTV, and my man, AK, that's Arab King. Welcome to the show, guys. Thanks for coming in and doing another one with us, or at least been on the phone at least. First things first, let me go ahead and give shots out. Shots out to BoxFanExpo.com. It's this weekend, guys. It's going to be big, man. It's the first ever Box Fan Expo. All the stars going to be there. You're talking about Mike Tyson, Juan Manuel Marquez, Sergio Martinez, Terry Norris, heavyweights like Chris Bird, Layman Brewster. Matter of fact, I'm going to throw a little graphic up, and you guys could check the picture out, excuse me. But it's this Saturday, okay? It's going to be on the day of the Floyd Mayweather fight. It's going to be earlier on, all right? So go ahead, go to the website, go to my link, and you can get your tickets right there, okay, guys? So let's get into it, man. We got a lot to talk about. Your mic good? We good?
We good? You guys hear me?
His mic needs to be turned up. I'm not hearing him. I'm not hearing them in the headphones. Okay, we want to make sure everybody good over here. But anyway, so okay, there we go. Now I'm hearing it. Now we got some damn audio.
To pay the bills.
There we go. Okay, guys, so let's go ahead and get into it, man. Now, like I said, this week right here, this is the biggest week of boxing that we have, at least up to this date, right, guys?
Wow, absolutely.
Mayweather fighting against Maidana rematch. You never know what's going to happen in the rematch. I've been telling everybody that this is the year of the upsets, so we'll see. But we're going to save that talk for later. For now, I want to talk about this card, the Adrian Broner versus Taylor card. And we're going to start with the undercard, basically, Norrin. So the first fight that came out was Andre Berto against Steve Chambers. He wins a unanimous decision. Norrin, how did he look?
Berto, he looked he looked a little bit better than, obviously, his last performances where he was on the losing end. But, he looked vulnerable at times also. He got the decision. He got the win. It remains to be seen where his career goes from here, but he definitely looked really vulnerable at times. So it's hard to see if he's moved past those same flaws. You know what I mean? How did his condition, was he really running out of steam like he always did? In the mid rounds, I didn't catch it as much. It wasn't as as noticeable as it has been in the past. But like I said, at times he definitely looked vulnerable. So maybe it was due still to the conditioning problems. So it remains to be seen. Like I said, what he can put back together from his career, moving forward. It remains to be seen. But I wasn't overly impressed. If we given him a grade, I would say C plus.
Yeah, unfortunately,
and not like that. It's good to see him back in the ring. It's good to see him get the win. But I'm just saying, I wasn't overwhelmed by the performance.
I hear you, man. So what about you, AK? What did you think of his performance?
Yeah, I wasn't impressed either. He did improve the jab, but, he was using it a lot. But the most important thing is the defense, and there's no upper body movement. He never really used his footwork. So I think as soon as he step up, in my opinion, he will lose again. And his conditioning was kind of questionable because he was really tired at the end of the fight. He was breathing hard. But, that was his first fight after a long layoff. But, a fight that I would like to see is him versus Ortiz. Give Ortiz a tune-up and let them fight each other. Let's see who come on top. because Ortiz don't have the heart or the mental. Something that Andre Berto has is he mentally there. He has a lot of heart. Ortiz I could say he's more skilled a little bit. He has horrible defense himself too, but mentally he's not there. So that'd be a nice rematch if he gives a tune-up too and they fight each other.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's real sad with Andre Berto because, honestly, I thought it was a good performance for Andre Berto, but only for Andre Berto. You know what I mean? What I basically mean is it wasn't good as terms of him being better than any of the top-notch guys. I still see him losing to the top-notch fighters, but I'm just comparing his performance towards his last performance against Soto Carras. And his other performance against Robert Guerrero when he tried to come out there looking like Adrian Broner, and that turned out to be a disaster for him. At least he came back out looking like Andre Berto. Andre Berto, he's just not a consistent fighter. I mean, he has, in a way, kind of almost remind me a little bit of Canelo. There's some things that he can do that looks a little flashy, but then at the same time, he makes a lot of mistakes. So he's not a complete fighter. But I agree with you, AK. I mean, I think he should really work on, getting those rematches. Getting the Ortiz rematch. Hell, getting the Soto Carras rematch. And maybe leaving Robert Guerrero for last because, I don't know, that might be his toughest rematch. I think Guerrero is probably the more complete fighter out of the three fighters that he actually lost to. I'm going to go ahead and talk to my man Ranger. I was about to shout out some extra Box Fan Expo stuff, but that's irrelevant. So, Ranger, man, you've been gone for a minute, man. You stayed away. You've been out of the loop. Your fans been wondering where my man at. Explain to me, man, what's been going on, man, with the crazy life of boxing that we live, man?
Listen, man, first of all, I want to thank you for calling me and inviting me on the show today.
No doubt, man.
I've been going. That's for a fact. I'm a little divorced, as you could say, from boxing, or like I said, quote unquote boxing, because I can't call it boxing anymore. I'm almost rather call it WWE or something. But anyway, I'm a little divorced from boxing. First, for a long time I've been dealing with the hypocrisy of boxing, with the business aspect of boxing. We got the Lara fight. He got robbed. That's happened before. It even happened to the promoter who arranged that robbery. So, and after that, I was watching the protection program they gave Brandon Rios versus Chavez, and that right there. That's what did it for me. Once I saw that, it was more like, okay, flashbacks in my mind from all the robbery, all the BS that has been happening in boxing, and I just kind of say, you know what? I need to step away. Because this is no longer the sport that I love. There's something deeper going on here. And it's something none of us can control, So I decided to sort of step away for a minute. And honestly speaking, I have not, and you probably won't believe what I'm about to say, I have not watched one single boxing match since they robbed Chavez versus Brandon Rios. So that DQ,
wow.
First of all, that DQ, that was the biggest BS. You mean to tell me that Robert Garcia is going to complain about Chavez being dirty when he is the trainer that advised Mayweather-Maidana to be dirty versus Floyd Mayweather? Oh, wait a minute. Now we're getting into deeper things that the average fan don't want to hear. But unfortunately, that's actually what happened.
Calling the kettle black. Yeah, man. I totally agree with you, man. And this is the thing, Ranger. I think the same thing sometimes, especially when I'm working with the media. For example, something that kind of took me, back was when I interviewed Leo Santa Cruz. And Leo Santa Cruz, he's basically openly saying, I can't fight Rigo right now. It's up to my promoter. It's up to my team. It's up to my family. It's up to my cousins. It's up to whoever. But right now, he's saying he can't make the fight, right? So he keeps taking all these other fights, and here I am grilling him, as a journalist, and then the next day, my interview is on everyone's boxing website, and all of these media outlets, they're all defending Leo, and they put the headline in the websites, Leo says he wants to fight Rigo. right? That's all they put down. But then when you read the comments, you hear everyone saying something different because, a lot of people in the comments, they're actually speaking the truth, which is Leo, he don't want it, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, that's just one little example, but there's many. But I understand where you're coming from, though, Ranger, because like I said, when you listen to the distractions, because the decafs, the dumbass fans in the sport of boxing, they are major distractions. If it wasn't for them, we could have real civilized conversations talking about boxing, without getting distracted with the silly shit, and that's what that's what we have to deal with. So I feel you, every now and then I feel the same way. Like, I might have to take a little step back, but because I'm getting
going into your interview,
huh?
going into your interview with Leo Santa Cruz, which by the way was an excellent interview. I like the questions that you used in front of. Going into your interview, I like your interview to talk to the cast of fans that are listening right now, and to the actual real fans that are listening right now.
Mm-hmm.
When a fighter, please understand, people, when a fighter tells you it's up to my promoter, it is the biggest. I'm talking about you need 5 semi trucks put together to haul this biggest lie that you could ever come across. Why? Why am I so sure about what I'm saying? Let me put you several examples. At the end of the day, the real boss of the team is the fighter.
Of course.
Some of you might say, well, what makes you say that? Well, let me put you a great example. One of the most protected fighters right now, Canelo Alvarez, when they put a bunch of fighters in front of him, his promoters did not want him to fight Erislan de Lara. They told him, no, that's not the fight we want for you.
Excellent point.
Happened, Canelo decided to fight Lara. What does that tell you, fans? That tells you right there that the fighter
has the final say.
With the last word.
Sure.
The promotion can bring you 20 different fights, but at the end of the day, you are the one that choose to fight.
Excellent point. Excellent point.
When Leo Santa Cruz says, I want to fight him, but it's up to my promoter, that's BS, people.
Yeah, of course.
If you want to fight somebody, you say, I want that fighter. When you tell that the other big lie that's being used to deceive the boxing fan is Rigo don't bring much money. You mean to tell me that Rigo being the highest paid 122-pounder as we speak, he doesn't bring enough money?
There you go. Yep. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he's the highest paid 122-pounder there is. So if he don't bring much money, who is it that you want to fight
Come on.
going to bring you more money than Rigo? When Rigo is the highest paid 122-pounder there is.
Elementary.
Which that shuts down Carl Frampton's excuse too, because that's the excuse they just used recently. They was like, "There's no money fighting against Rigo," and that's the first thing that popped in my head. What are you talking about? He's the highest paid athlete at 122. So
exactly.
I mean, come on, man. We know what time it is, and just to finish or continue where I left off at when I was saying that, sometimes I do think about taking a step back, but the only reason I don't do it is because now I get paid for this, So as long as I'm getting paid for it, I'm going to continue to tell the truth and shove it down y'all throats when y'all don't want to hear the damn truth.
Already.
So that's what it is. That's what it is. And you touched on so much stuff I wanted to respond to, Ranger, but I remember some of the stuff I wanted to say responding to that right there. That was some good stuff, man. So, but anyway, guys, let's go ahead and go back to the undercard, the Adrian Broner undercard. We also had Lucas Matisse against Ortiz. Okay.
Just a large cup of hot chocolate.
Okay. My man over here. Hey, you gonna order me something too, Ranger, or what?
Hey man, I order you something.
Shit, hey.
Tell him you hungry.
Give me that Philly cheesesteak, man.
Tell him you
hungry.
All right. Tell him you hungry, son.
Yeah, he got me wanting to drink some damn coffee now. Boy, you too much, Ranger. But anyway, man. No. Go ahead, man. Order, man. I'm gonna keep it moving, man. But anyway, Matisse. Let's get back to Matisse versus Ortiz, man.
The machine.
It's the machine. Now, before I get into talking about this fight, it was a second-round knockout, okay? Matisse knocked him out in the second round. Now, Al Bernstein, he brought up a very interesting statistic. he basically said before the fight that Argentina versus Mexico, the last 20 times that they faced each other, Argentina, they won 18 out of 20 fights, right? So I thought that was pretty interesting. And now 18 goes up to 19, right? But the reason why I find that so interesting is because it shows that these Argentine fighters, they're not just dumb brawlers. They're actually smarter than a lot of these, aggressive fighters. And even the traditional Mexican style, a lot of the Argentine fighters, they actually are using more of their head than their heart. And I think that shows with Lucas Matisse. Lucas Matisse, he has a great jab. He knows how to box a little bit. He always keeps his guards up really tight. It's hard to catch Matisse with clean shots over and over. He may get caught every now and then, but you don't really catch him with shots over and over. So overall, I thought it was a good performance by Lucas Matisse. Nice little knockout. I mean, the stoppage was a little premature.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, they rewinded, and you could see that he beat the count. But outside of the stoppage, I thought it was an impressive performance by Lucas Matisse. What do you think, Norin?
Yeah, Lucas Matisse, he's a proficient fighter. Like you said, he does everything at a competent level. You know what I mean? And like you said, as far as the Argentines, their proficiency, it even shows in Maidana. You know what I mean? Like you said, he's able to follow a game plan, like you said, outside of, just having like you said, a traditional one-dimensional brawler style. So, it's definitely reflected, in the Argentine fighter. And Matisse, yeah, good performance. He did what he was supposed to do. You know what I mean? He did what he's supposed to do as one of the, dangerous guys at junior welterweight. So, I mean,
so
good win for Matisse. Good KO.
Good win. Good win.
Sure,
Good
for sure.
KO. So, AK, did that fight play out the way you thought it would, Matisse Ortiz?
Yeah, it kind of played out the way I thought it. I thought it was going to go, a little bit more rounds. But, I think Ortiz was the number one contender, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah, for the WBC, the WBO, one of them. But, yeah, he looked good against him, and, he did the job. The referee stopped it too early, but I think that's because also he spit out his mouthpiece.
Exactly.
So that was going to take extra, 10 seconds, which is almost going to be like a 20-second
And my
count
bad,
instead
AK,
of
but
10-second count.
and even though he did beat the count, he was still, slow to rise. You know what I mean?
It was a slow rise.
Like
he was indecisive.
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't sure if he wanted to get up.
Exactly. He wasn't too anxious to get back in.
Yeah.
Anyway, my bad.
And also, it was a body shot, and it took
For sure.
when you get hit with a body shot like that, it's hard to breathe. You know, so Matisse would have took him out in that round anyway. But it
Most
was
of the time, they don't come back from it.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very hard to come up from that.
Well, one thing for sure, though, he does want a Danny Garcia rematch. I think he should stay out of that rematch and fight Broner instead.
Yeah, that's
Broner's calling him out. That's the wrong fight for Broner. But he wants Danny Garcia.
On paper.
I know you want to get that loss over with, by fighting with Danny Garcia. But Danny Garcia, that's a tough fight for him. And I think if he's smart, if I was him, I'd fight Adrian Broner. But who would believe that Herrera is the most duck fighter at 140 right now? Lamar Peterson is avoiding him. Matisse don't want to fight him. You got Broner don't want to fight him, and Danny Garcia don't want to fight him, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But, I think Matisse should fight Adrian Broner. That's the best fight for him, and Broner called him out. So I think that's an easy cake for him. What you think?
I think I was a little distracted for a minute, but you're basically talking about Matisse against Broner, right?
The problem.
Yeah, I would lean a little bit. I would lean slightly towards Matisse in that fight. Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen in the Broner, which I was going to talk about that, but from what I've seen in the Broner and the what's his name Taylor fight, I thought that Adrian Broner, he still made the same type of mistakes that he made against Marcos Maidana.
Which just brings us to the next fight.
Yeah, brings us to the next fight. But before I go further, I do want to say in defense of, the Mexican fighters, when I talk about the Argentine fighters fighting small, I'm talking about that old traditional Mexican-style fighter, right? So I know because there's a lot of Mexican fighters today that are starting to have more of an American style, at least what I like to call American style. Mikey Garcia, Canelo Alvarez, Juan Marquez, Miguel Vasquez.
Absolutely.
The majority of, Mexican fighters today that are fighting at the elite level, they understand that you have to have gears to your game. You know, you have to have levels.
Yeah, the majority
Last
of them,
longer like
the
that.
majority of them are going. The majority of them are trying to learn the stuff that they criticize the most. So yeah, that's a contradiction within itself.
Oh yes, it's definitely a contradiction. Speaking of that, see, I'm end up jumping talking about other stuff, but I'll bring up, speaking of contradiction, talking about the title of the Golovkin fight Golovkin versus Rubio, and they're calling the fight Mexican style. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Rubio.
And Rubio, he don't fight that traditional Mexican style. You know, he moves around the ring, so another contradiction, like you were saying, Ranger. But anyway, so let's go ahead and talk about that. The Broner, possibly before. You know what? Let's talk about Broner versus Taylor, then we'll talk about Broner-Matisse a little bit more. Now, okay, so the Broner versus Taylor fight, like I said, I thought that Broner did a good job, but he's not consistent enough. The thing with Broner is, like I said, 1 minute he's fighting consistent and he's looking like he can handle these dudes easy. But then all of a sudden, you know, he'll slow down and then the fight will become very competitive. You know, he'll start getting caught with shots that he's not supposed to get caught with, right? And that's, you know, that's what I worry about. That's what concerns me with Adrian Broner, especially, like I said, us talking about him fighting against somebody like Lucas Matisse. You can't get hit, especially with the same punch over and over. I think Matisse is a very smart fighter, you know. So, I mean, Broner, he did his thing against Taylor. He's a very entertaining fighter. You know, he shows flashes of greatness, but it's only flashes, though. You know, it's only right now, and it's not consistent type greatness type of you know, stuff that's going on in the ring with Adrian Broner. I mean, yeah. What do you think about that, Norrin?
Yeah, it's just a very accurate analysis. That's what he is, and you know, inconsistent. I try to, you know, what is it that's, you know, like you said, making his game inconsistent? Is it the lack of defense? You know, I guess obviously all contributing factors. You know what I mean? His defense, you know, despite the emulation of Floyd, you know, it's still, he doesn't pull it off, you know, nowhere near with the, you know, effectiveness that Mayweather does. So, you know, lack of defense. He seems not to run out of steam so much, you know, but what is it that, like you said, he starts getting caught?
When he's feeling comfortable.
He's not comfortable. You're right. You're right.
And then, like you said, then he starts getting, you know, caught with shots. And like you said, now, you know what I mean? It's a fight on the hand. So like I was saying earlier, you know, I don't know if we'll ever see, which, you know, he's so young, so hopefully it's not the case. But will we see those dominant performances, the Litzals, the Antonio DeMarco? Will we see those, you know, type of performances again in his career? Hopefully, but I mean, again, remain to be seen.
It's
tough.
looking tough.
I mean,
he can
He can be inconsistent.
He can stay relevant. He can stay relevant. Maybe
he's going to keep himself relevant.
Yeah,
you already know.
Yeah, but I don't know how it's looking, AK. I just don't know, man.
Well, one thing, I know a lot of people say, well, Adrian Broner, he impressed him. Adrian Broner impressed him, this and that. But what would impress me if Adrian Broner had a type of performance that he did with DeMarco, I meant. That's impressive. But other than that, that was impressive performance because he was staying on the ropes too much, getting hit too easy. And imagine if that was Cisse hitting him with them body shots and headshots.
Oh, yeah.
And, when he was moving, he started getting hit more. And he just couldn't. I mean, he will look good in certain spots when he's feeling comfortable. And when he gets his opponent on the defense, he will turn it up. But then next minute, he goes back to defense mode, and he don't have the best defense in the world, and he's getting hit. Instead of he try to catch and shoot. But, like I said, if he fight Matisse, man, I just really can't see him beating Matisse, especially the way he get hit too easy, and he don't have that power to really just knock out Matisse with one punch. So I think Matisse will break him down and possibly take him out. And if he goes 12 rounds with Matisse, I'll be impressed because the lack of defense that he shows, it'd be impressive if he actually makes it 12 rounds, even though, Maidana, I feel like the difference between Maidana and Matisse is that Maidana throws more punches and he's more awkward. Matisse is more technical and he's more accurate but has more power. But, that would be a nice fight. I would love to see that one.
And let me just.
Like I said, I've been a little divorced from boxing, but from what I'm hearing from what you guys talking about, is Broner got tapped a little in this fight. Well, that doesn't surprise me a little bit because one of the biggest problems that Broner has is that he's fighting a style that he has tried to imitate, yet he has not been able to perfect. When you are fighting outside of who you really are, then you can't operate at a full punch. He can't roll that punch like Floyd rolls that punch. He can't block that punch like Floyd blocks the punch. So, one of the solutions that I would come up with if I was one of his advisors is changing the trainer. Why? Yes, he may have a good trainer, but I feel, if you've noticed on that Maidana fight, it was more of the trainer listening to Broner than Broner listening to the trainer. When the trainer tried to give Broner an advice, Broner would say, I got this, like he would yell, and then the trainer said, all right, like, I got you, man, I got you. So that right there let me know that the trainers are really of the team right there. Broner needs somebody that is going to put him in his spot, somebody that's going to make him work the way they want him to work, and somebody that doesn't really care who Broner is and that's not afraid to lose his job because that's the only known fighter he's got. Once that happens, it'll put Broner in a level of humility that will allow him to learn new things. Once he learns those new techniques and he implements them in the ring, we might see a change Broner. But, as long as he has that mentality, I'm the boss in this team, he's not going to learn anything new because he's not going to allow his trainer to teach him anything new. And we're going to have the same thing. If Broner was to fight Matisse, there is ways to beat Matisse.
Of course. I give him a chance, but I do give him a chance, though. I just
a chance, but that's still a very sound.
However, if he tries to go in there trying to act like Floyd, I don't see him passing the 5th round versus Matisse.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
He got it.
Because
Yeah,
the first thing
A very sound position.
The first thing that's going to happen is Matisse is going to give him that left hook that he has no defense for. And what happens if he follows that left hook with an overhand right? We just don't know.
we just don't know.
And here's what I was.
My solution is change training.
Go ahead, Nora.
And like I said, and that make a whole lot of sense. And it kind of goes along with what I was going to say also. I just wanted to get it in real quick. But the I don't want to say like a shame, but the part about it that's irritating is that Broner has the athleticism to pull off the style, to beat a guy like Matisse. You know what I mean? Box. You know what I mean? Box. It's almost like he wants to, go in and exchange. You know what I mean? I don't like he got something to prove. And that goes a lot along with what Ranger was just saying. Maybe a change of trainer, somebody who will, implement, their will on him. You know what I mean? Will get him to adapt, a different strategy. You know what I mean? Because he has the ability to pull it off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He has the ability. But I'm gonna tell you guys, just like I was saying, we were talking about Canelo. I just think it's too late to get a new trainer, man. I just think he's been fighting since he was 8 years old. I mean, I would love to trust me. I would love to see Adrian Broner fix all his flaws and take care of things and become a better fighter. And he still can beat fighters. I'm not saying that he can't beat certain fighters. He can still beat fighters. It's just,
like I said, I give him a chance against Matisse.
Me too.
Give him a chance.
Oh, I give him a good chance. It's a 50-50 fight. I'm just leaning towards Matisse.
I would definitely lean towards Matisse. Yeah. Maybe even more than 50. But
maybe 60-40. But
with all due respect, I don't think it's too late to change trainer. Why? Because if we notice, Tito Trinidad went through it. If we notice, Oscar De La Hoya went through it. And at the end of the day, when you change a trainer, what that trainer is going to do is lead you in the right path and perhaps say, okay, me and you, we're getting to know each other. Let's get you one of those stepping stone fights to get accommodated. And it's never too late when you just following instructions. Because at the end of the day, the only thing the fighter's doing is following instructions. He's following a voice, telling them what to do. Of course, there's going to be that relationship issue. But relationship is built throughout the training camp. It's like a girlfriend, you know what I mean? You get to know her, you go out with her a couple of times, and then bam, you score, right? Well, it's the same thing. You go through it through training camp with this trainer, and relationship is born, and Because at the end of the day, the only thing the fighter's doing is following a voice, giving them instructions. You see what I'm saying? So no, I don't think on the technical, on the boxing side of it, I don't think it's too late to change your trainer. However, on the sentimental part of it, yeah, it might be a little issue,
Yeah. Hey, well, I hope the best. I'm hoping that Adrian Broner, he can get better, he can improve with his flaws, and hopefully we see a better one, a better Adrian Broner. Who knows? Like I said, maybe.
And I'll be honest with you.
Huh? Go ahead.
I'll be honest with you, man. I don't see that Matisse fight being 50-50 or 60-40 due to the fact that Broner, almost
75-25.
takes rounds off, and you can't take no rounds off against Matisse.
That's true.
Or give him free shots.
That's true.
Adrian Broner doesn't show me anything like that he's going to be able to deal with Matisse. Yes, he has the talent, but he has a lot to improve on.
Yeah.
And you're not going to improve that in one fight. It takes time. If you're going to improve it, it's going to take, a couple fights. And I don't think he'd be ready for Matisse. And that's if the fight happens.
You make a good point. Well, Oscar De La Hoya said that both fighters, they want it. We already know Adrian Broner wants the fight. And Lucas Matisse said, I hope that Adrian Broner is serious when he says he wants to fight. So it sounds to me like it's mutual, unless Matisse doesn't want the fight, because he's saying that he would rather have the Danny Garcia rematch, and I don't think Danny Garcia wants that rematch. Especially after his scare with Mauricio Herrera. It seems like Danny don't really want nobody after that scare, because we could have got the Lamont Peterson fight. That should have been the next fight. It looked like they were building up to that fight, and then after the fight, Danny Garcia says, I'm not interested in the Lamont Peterson fight. So I don't know what's going on with Danny Garcia right now.
Well, right now, Danny Garcia is more focused on fighting fighters like Salka. You know what I'm saying?
That's the point. That's the point.
Salka.
That's the point.
Whose corner did Salka work last weekend?
Yeah.
Arab.
Lightning rod, Salka.
He was in somebody's corner.
Oh, was he?
Arab.
Yeah, what's up?
If you go to the Danny Garcia gym, they might give you a fight with him next.
Oh boy! Wow.
He got a shot.
Listen, hey, listen. I just want to chime this in real quick about Broner too. You got to give him credit for calling out a guy like Matisse. You know what I mean? You definitely got to give him credit.
Yeah.
It's for him. It's like the closest thing he's getting to a rematch with Maidana right now. So definitely give him. You know what I mean? His props on. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Stepping up like that.
You bring up an excellent point, Norrin, because we know the double standards. With Canelo Alvarez, now that people are criticizing him, saying that he's not as good as we thought, so on and so forth. The first thing that a lot of Canelo fans say, well, at least he's fighting everybody. At least he's this, at least that, right? But when it comes to Adrian Broner, he's been calling out the big names for a while, and no one ever gives him credit for that.
He can.
Yeah. I mean, he fought against Taylor. Then they start saying, why are you fighting against Taylor? But then he calls out Matisse. Nobody says anything about that. So, yeah, we need to give him credit for calling out these fighters, wanting to fight the best. Okay, that's one thing about him. He may not beat Matisse, but he thinks he can beat him. And you gotta give him credit for that. We need more fighters to do that. Like I said.
And listen, if he fights Matisse and he loses to Matisse, at least in my eye, and this is something I'm not used to doing, which is giving Broner credit, but at least in my eye, going away from the sport a little bit, he's more of a man than all of this cash cows being called pound for pound the best, like Leo Santa Cruz, like your boy Canelo Alvarez, like all of this cash cows, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That are not willing to fight the best. At least Broner is willing to fight the best.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got 5 minutes left. It went by pretty quick. But let's go ahead and talk about probably the biggest fight of the year, which is Mayweather versus Maidana 2. Now I just want to throw in real quick the all access situation.
No doubt.
One of the best all access episodes ever, and not just because
of all times.
And not just because your boy Dontae was in it, but I say it was one of the best episodes. But I say it was one of the best episodes because AK and Norrin, y'all seen the epic little battle they had at the Mayweather gym where your boy the guy from UK, Donovan Cameron, he comes from the UK, calls out Ishe. Ishe don't want to fight, So then Hasim Sharif Rockman, he says, I'll fight him.
Edit
You know,
that
so
laugh.
he get in the ring. And you know, Cameron, he says, look, the dude too small for me. He too young. I don't want to hurt him. He goes in there. He deals with, you know, little Sharif. But credit to Sharif. Sharif is a young cat. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And he got a whole lot of talent, right?
And a whole lot of heart.
A whole lot, and a future, a bright future.
Already.
He one of the best amateurs in the world right now, or in the country.
Big up to the Rock Man.
Yes, sir. So that was Sharif.
Indeed.
But then Big Hasim Rockman Jr. comes in, and he wants revenge, you know, for his little brother. And they fight a 31-minute round, sparring. No breaks, right? Floyd Mayweather say, y'all gonna fight until somebody quits, right? Yeah, some Spartan stuff, ain't it? You know what I mean? So anyway, it looked like your boy Donovan Cameron did real good, but they said that Rock he won. So I thought that was really interesting. And on top of that, you also had Marcos Maidana's younger brother fighting on All Access, which he looked just like another little young, energetic Marcos Maidana.
Exactly.
So overall, man, it was a real good episode. The best, the greatest of all time. All Access, episode 2, baby. You know. So yeah,
Dontae was in it. It was the best.
hey, it gotta be.
time.
It gotta be. What would it be
Hey.
without the D in it, boy?
All Access Canelo Mayweather episode 4 was pretty good too.
Yeah. Don't compare to this one, though.
You-
I ain't never heard of that
some
episode.
Of
No.
some of a bitch.
I'm messing with you. You know, it's all good.
Is
We
anybody
rep
thinking
All
about
Access all day,
For
baby.
sure, for sure. Send the check.
Yeah.
Already.
Send the check.
Already.
Yeah, with a whole lot of zeros on it, you know. But what did you think? What did you think about the episode, though, Norm? Was that pretty cool though, entertaining?
Yeah, man. I listen. I haven't seen an All Access that hasn't been entertaining. So you know, it is what it is, man. You know, it was a great look, a tremendous look, you know, and what, you know, we're doing our thing. We're
We're doing our thing.
Exactly.
The whole truth.
Going to continue to grow.
D-
it's
DBN. That's what it is.
it's nonstop excitement.
Hey,
Real
listen,
talk.
Listen, first of all, congratulations,
Yes,
man,
sir.
'cause that's a big step. A lot of people don't
No
even
doubt.
realize that's a big step just being on All Access, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Second of all, I want to say that in the doghouse, which is what they call Mayweather's ring or gym, or in the doghouse, things is happening that's good for boxing.
Wow.
Because
Nice.
when you got things like that, brother, it reminds me of when I used to box. We used to go gym versus gym. We had once a week. It was gym versus gym, and we will fight 3 or 4 times in a day, depending on how many fighters there were.
Yep.
That to me right there is boxing. Not I ain't gonna fight Dontae because Dontae only brings 1.6 million, and you know I only want a cash cow that can't fight that's gonna bring me 30 million. You know what I mean? To me, man, I come from that's boxing. So,
And we got 1 minute, guys. We got 1 minute. Go ahead.
shout out anyway. Thanks for having me. I'll let you have this last minute. Man.
Okay.
No
Well,
doubt.
we'll just get predictions from everybody real quick in this last minute. Okay. So Mayweather, Maidana, Noran, shoot.
From what I've seen, very up close and personal of Mayweather's training, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not predicting it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Knockout.
Yeah, man. If Floyd stops him, if if Maidana could walk into something and catch a few of those, and I could see a stoppage. But I'm seeing Floyd, being really dominant and 12-round decision. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a stoppage, TKO, late rounds,
AK.
9.
Maidana by knockout.
All right. All
I
right.
got
Argentine
I think
power.
if Floyd Mayweather uses his footwork, it'd be easy work.
Yeah. Oh, you ain't going.
You ain't going with the
You
long
ain't going
shot.
with the 20. You ain't going with the 25 to 1 and win that $1 million
long
with
shot.
that $5 you put down. Go ahead, Ranger.
I go.
And what I gotta say is this, okay? I always say screw the fan, and I would like to give that message to Floyd. Screw the fan. Do your thing. Forget about exchanging. You are a master boxer for a reason. It's not to keep it in the closet. It's to use it. So stick and move, baby. Make them miss.
Yeah.
Make it a no mas.
Yeah.
True
And
indeed.
just remember, sticking and moving actually helped Floyd Mayweather knock out one of the most durable fighters in his era, which is Diego Corrales. So I wouldn't be surprised either if sticking and moving. I think he's going to do both. I think he's going to stick and move. I think he's going to fight on the inside. He's looking a little stronger. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. But if he goes to the body consistently,
he could take him out.
Maidana is going to be in trouble. But Maidana is still dangerous. So, Floyd Mayweather, he can't sleep because Maidana, he can land one of them wild-ass, overhand, sloppy-ass right hands, and it might land,
It could happen.
So it's going to be good, man. I'm looking forward to this. I wish we could have talked about how the pay-per-views would possibly look. But numbers real quick on prediction on pay-per-views. I'm thinking 850. What you thinking, Nora?
Pass.
Go ahead.
Over $1 million.
You think over $1 million? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. AK got over $1 million.
Just for the Floyd Mayweather fight, not for the undercard, but just for the main event.
Yeah. No doubt. Okay. And AK, what you got? Your prediction, the numbers.
Over $1 million, but if they had a nice undercard, it would have been like 1.5, man. If it was a really nice undercard, but because of the BS undercard, I say do $1 million. Because everybody want to see the rematch.
Anywhere
the fight
between
got sold in 10 minutes.
Anywhere between 950,000 to 1.50.
Yeah, I could kind of see it because some people may actually think that Maidana has a chance to win, so they may tune in just because of that. So,
crunching numbers.
Yep. All right, you guys. That is my time. That is our time. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to say thank you once again to my special guest, a.k.a. Arab King, and my man RawBoxingTV. Go ahead and subscribe to them cats if you haven't already did it. My man Coast, Norm Radical in the building. We'll see y'all next week.
Hey.